Hello everyone. Figured now is a good time to do a neckline tutorial since I am doing high contrasting fabric here and it will be a little easier to follow. So the garment I am making today is a Byzantine camisón or tunic dress basically. Himation would be another term as well. And it's going to have a faced neckline with a placket that is documented to the Manazan caves find in Cappadocia, circa 9th to the 12th century, so it's right up my alley. This will be an outer facing. So what that means is that the decorative silk, the red silk that you see in front of you, is going to go on the outside of the garment versus the inside of the garment, and just making, the neckline a little bit more comfortable and concealed. In this case, it has a decorative purpose. And so that's why it is set up the way that it is. So let's just review a little bit on what I have going here and what you can use to help you through this. So I cut my circles. I cut all my necklines based on a neckline gauge that I make myself. I have a 13-inch neck. And so what I do have a blog post on this as well, is that I find, basically my center point, and I go from there and how much I want on the back and how much I want in the front, because you don't actually want to have, your neckline. Let's say if I use this here, the seam here, you don't want to have it perfectly centered on your seam. You kind of want to pull it forward a little bit. So in this case, I have about an inch of my neckline going behind my back, my shoulder seam, and then the bulk of it in the front. And that's what you see here as well. So it's already been cut out just to make my life a little easier here. So you don't have to see me, cutting and pinning ad nauseum and the like. So just your simple inside cut. You can save this as like a template, for like make a little rose or something. I don't know. The color, by the way, I absolutely love. This is Sangria by Silk Baron. And I just absolutely adore this color. It's like a rose red shot with teal. And my garment fabric is actually this is a silk herringbone twill. I mean, look at how beautiful that is. This is gonna drape absolutely beautifully, and I'm very excited about it. But that's part of the reason why I wanted to have this really nice neckline. So what I'm gonna do from here is that I'm going to stitch around the neckline completely. Bring it in, probably leave no more than 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to go down here. This is my keyhole. So if you notice, the keyhole isn't cut yet, and there's a reason for this, and I'll show you guys after I stitch it. This will be machine stitched. So I'm going to come in very close to that line, stitch down here, pop over, stitch back up, and then you can either continue, or what I'll do is that I'll make a full continuous circle and then create that stitch, because you're going to be making cuts anyway. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is cut this now. And what actually I think I might just pin down these corners really quick as well. Just makes it a little easier to handle. So 1 second while I do that and set that up. Trying to get this in a position where I can use both hands and everyone can see me, but not sure. This will be quick. Like I said, throw down a few extra pins if you feel things are going to move a little bit much. You can never have too many pins, ever. If you get to the point where you don't need pins, even better. On some things I don't need pins, but if I'm putting down a facing, especially a nice facing like this, I'm going to want to take that extra care. You'll also notice that my seam, or my edges, my raw edges on both silks have been finished with a zigzag. This is to stop fraying and makes it a little bit easier as well, just to handle, so you don't have, fraying, and then when I go in to turn it and everything along those lines. So let me bring this back over. Oops. Whoa, everyone's coming for a free ride with me. Yay. All right. I hope this is the right side up and not upside down. Okay. But, oh boy. We're taking everyone for a trip. But anyway, so one of the reasons why I do this, mostly, again, stop fraying. And I don't like using chemicals. I don't like using fray check. Fray check actually damages silks. It will eat away at it. You can also dilute white glue and use that. That is an alternative as well, but I'm just perfectly fine with a zigzag. I'm still in the dark ages and don't have a serger, and so that's what I use here as well. I just zigzag the edges, and then I just put in a basic straight stitch. Of course, for those at machine. So if you hand sew, you can do this easily as well. You can even flat fill your seams, whatever you prefer to do. I'm actually horrific at hand sewing structural seams, but I will be hand finishing this. So if you are still looking for some tricks with hands, I'll go ahead and show you that. If you need to do this entirely by machine, that's perfectly fine as well. Everything that I'm doing is workable with the machine. So I'm going to go ahead, get those stitches down, just throw this on pause real quick so I can get over to the machine, and then show you guys how I did it and then how we're going to clip the curves. Okay, so I am back. You're probably wondering, oh my goodness, I would have loved to have seen her sew this. Well, guys, listen. One, it would have been very difficult, only because you mostly, if I would have just sat down the phone, you would have just seen my chubby butt sitting at the machine. So it actually would be better if I had someone help me out with it. Two, there was some language that was unbecoming of a baroness of the court. And three, a rogue bobbin decided to come out of my stuff and attack me. So I'm just getting things ready here right now. I had some pins go flying. It was an adventure. This is what happens when you decide to do a tutorial on a whim and not actually plan it well in advance. So you get to see some of my not so great work. Actually, I think I might have missed stitches. Yeah, that's going to need to get revisited there in a second. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to clip the curves and your neckline. So here we go. As you can see, this is, again, not the best work. I told you I got totally attacked by a rogue bobbin. But you stitch around and then down and around your slit there. So I'm going to go ahead. Now you have to clip your curves before you turn it, otherwise it's not going to turn. You don't have to make those fancy cuts, just, I tend to just throw in a slit every inch or so. And I gotta, like I said, I gotta revisit that stitch real quick. So I'm gonna jump over and do that. And then you're just gonna carefully, very, very carefully, avoiding those stitches down the middle with your sharpest pair of scissors, slowly cut your keyhole. Okay. I didn't leave much room to work in there, but I'm gonna hit pause real quick while I just fix this area where it got a little too, it's a little too close for comfort there. And I'm back again. All right, let's see if this worked. Again, this is entirely on a whim, so we're just gonna kind of, give it the old Hail Mary here, but I went ahead and fixed that. But I've done enough of these. So once again, quick review. This is an outside facing and not an inside facing. If this was going to be an inside facing, I would do exactly what I'm doing here, only from the outside. But we're working from the inside. Here is your inside. So, ready, set, whoop. There's really no easy way to do this gracefully. Well, I'm trying to do this on the camera, I think. But if all went well, everything should just work itself right in. And it looks like I did a good thing. Yay! Look at that. We have a faced keyhole, kind of. We're not quite there yet, but we will be shortly. So go through, tighten everything up. That little nubbins down there, that can be fixed with proper application of an iron and maybe a few more clips. I cut it really close though, so I don't know if I really want to push it. Since this is going to be a Manizan style tunic, you're not going to really see that, but it's going to be there and it might annoy me forever. So I'm going to try to see if I can't clean that up. But this is a good time to go through and do some quality control. If an area didn't turn well, you can go back, and fix the clips in here. And like that. So if your pockets aren't as sharp as you want them to be, grab like a blunt blunt top. Like, this is just a paintbrush. Just kind of go in. Ooh, there's a hole there. You guys saw that, right? Son of a Baroness. So that's something else I've got to fix. This one is full of mistakes. You guys are going to watch this and go, wow, Anna really sucks at sewing. But the truth is that this stuff happens to everybody all the time. And the fact that I'm showing you guys very common errors on YouTube is probably a good thing. So let's troubleshoot that. So I have a hole. That means that I cut it a little bit too close. Actually, the stitches are still in there, but I have that issue. So this is why I haven't ironed anything yet. In the event of a hole, something not turning right, and the ilk, you're gonna have to put it back to the other side. So we'll flip it back through. Just find your error, and I can see it right there where it was just a little bit too close for comfort. So I'm just gonna run the machine really, really fast. I'm not even gonna pause the video this time and see if I can't fix that. This is what happens when you cut just that little bit too close. Pins going flying. I'm just going to go ahead and go over the other side again too, just in case. Give everything a little bit of extra reinforcement. I'll be back over shortly. All right. There's that black bobbin from Doom again. I have no idea where this thing came from. It just leapt out at me. All right. Let's see. Let's see what this comedy of errors neckline facing is turning into. I think when I post this, I'm just going to have to put yakety sax in the background. And as an example of, this is quite possibly the single worst sewing tutorial you're ever going to see on the internet. But, or maybe not. Just trying to clean up some strings here. All right, so went back through that. I'm gonna double check everything once more. How am I looking there center wise? You really can't even see what the heck I'm doing. I'm gonna move that a little closer. People keep messaging me right now too, and I'm like, I'm filming a tutorial, and they're like, now is the best time to bother her. Come on, guys. So I'm gonna kind of give them these teeny tiny little clips exactly where, you know, everything was screwy before. Try to see if I can't fix that again. But all right, here we go. Whoop. So the fact of the matter is, when you do this, it doesn't matter how good you are at something. It doesn't matter how many times you've practiced it. You're going to mess up. You're going to continue to make mistakes. And the fact that this wasn't cut very perfectly to begin with, because it was just kind of like, well, I'm kind of depressed and we're going to be inside of the house for the rest of our lives. I'm going to sew a thing. So And then I had a lot of caffeine, which just adds to the hilarity of the whole thing. You know, pop that in there again. I'll try and make that so you guys can see it. All right, that actually does look much better, and there's no holes. And you just kind of work. I have a little bit of a pinch on that keyhole, but let me see. Grab my handy dandy paintbrush again, go back through. Actually in here. I have another hole. I'm just gonna hand stitch that. I'm just so done right now. This was a mistake. All right, I'm gonna finish this up, but that's the general idea, but you have to iron it. So let's do that real quick. I probably won't do the mezzanine placket on this, but so for quick ironing, I tend to just use my cutting board. I do have a full-size ironing board. Don't use the full, I mean, first of all, it's kind of dumb for me to do that when it's on the other side of the room, but I really only use the full-size thing for full-size projects. By the way, I am stone sober too, which I'm probably sure is not helping this tutorial whatsoever. So when you go and tell your friends that, oh my god, Ana do kaini na estira kusina did this tutorial and she totally blew it up, y'all can just be like, yep, girl's drunk, but she's not really. I wonder how that got there, because when I first went over it, I didn't see it. But the best thing is that little mistakes like that can be whip stitched over in no time. All right, so we're in a good position here. I'm terrified. Just remember, guys, I cut and sew sartor like this too. Not even just like Silk Baron silks. All right, so iron. I'm gonna come around the back side here. Iron. All right. Make sure your iron is on the right setting. Now, I sew a lot with linen. This is all silk. Make sure you have it on the silk setting, because if it is too hot, it will actually burn. So, all right, we're just gonna always put a towel underneath, by the way. Don't ever iron on something just flat and cold and hard, and you can already see how this is just taking shape. It's not perfect. This is so not a beautiful work of art, and I apologize profusely. But again, welcome to Depression Sewing with Ana 101. Today we're going to screw up a neckline on YouTube for everyone to see. Now, if I was really a perfectionist, which I'm not at this particular moment, I would go in and fix all of that, because I still can. I'll show you guys how to do that. Just kind of play around with it. I probably should. See what you guys are making me do. See how much better that looks. And same thing here, you just kind of... All right. All right, that's that. There's your neckline. Now what do? Well, you have a couple options. What I'm going to do in this case is that I'm going to just do a simple fold over here, just to protect my raw edges and hide it. Another option, of course, is trim. Nothing says I don't want anybody to see my ugly raw edges like a piece of trim thrown over the top. Now this actually won't look too bad, but it's not probably so much for a Byzantine style tunic. If this was like a Norman tunic or a Norse tunic, I would absolutely be like, yeah, let's throw a little trim on there. But the trim in this case is going to be mostly on the pseudo tiraz bands, which are on the upper arm right here. I can't even, I'm trying to watch myself do this and it's just not working. But so your upper arm and the cuff and then the hem in this case, and then there's going to be a black placket that's going to cover this up right here. So you're not even going to see that messy keyhole. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to go have a beer and fix that little bit right there with just a simple whip stitch. I think I might actually check back. I'm gonna go ahead and post this video as like part 1 maybe, and then check back with how I actually decide to finish this thing. But I think that I am just gonna go ahead and do that. So, you know, you can measure. Yeah. I'm just gonna fold it over and then measure and iron. You want it to be nice and even though here, by the way. Don't just be like, yeah, look at that, because look, but okay. I have now sufficiently embarrassed myself. Whoosh. Goodbye, YouTube.